I would like that to be the truth, but I really think this is an example of human pettiness and power plays, and somebody in the city who was running the city just really not liking that this guy was getting the notoriety and, tourism attraction that he was getting. And like, you've seen that happen. Like, oh,
Yeah,
sorry, you're 50 feet to the left. We got to move you.
But,
oh, just kidding. We're removing it.
Now, what if this person was just someone who actually paid attention to Thomas Reed? And would you guys like to hear a review of one of Thomas Reed's panels from a UFO conference?
Sure.
Okay. Here's
why not?
Here is a great review. This is almost this is like your Amazon 5-star reviews of actual UFO conferences, and it says 9 a.m. Substituting for Linda Zimmerman is Thomas Reed. The talk is on Reed family UFO encounters and abductions in various locations. He showed a long documentary video, mostly excerpts from table TV shows with hideously bad audio and a loud hum. As sounds like the clips we played tonight. His case was supposedly mentioned at the UN in 1992, the same day he says his father was murdered. It goes on to say,
whoa.
He told of alien abductions and such involving his brother and son. There allegedly were radiation and magnetic fields. His long and boring account told what the aliens supposedly did, but probably didn't. He hinted about family disagreements over UFO claims. One questioner noted that his brother's account of their supposed UFO abduction is completely inconsistent with his. Tom explained how his brother is, of course, mistaken, but he confessed, I didn't pass a polygraph test. Wait, what? He said he did. You fucking liar.
What?
It goes on, abductionist Yvonne Smith once came out to his house to regress him about his UFO experiences. The resulting video looked much like a scene from The Exorcist, with Reed writhing, panting, and thrashing about on the couch. Now,
what?
I looked up John, or whatever his name is, Tom Reed, a regression exorcist. I wish we would have seen this. This is a whole nother wrinkle, that his regression looks like The Exorcist. But it says, Reed hired a lawyer to sue the government, or somebody, over what the saucers did to him. Who are you going to sue about UFOs?
You're gonna sue the UFOs?
Yeah.
That's what he's gonna do?
It's like, sorry, I don't think they follow the same laws that we do.
So
that's like that lady who called the cops on the shark when they were out on a boat, and she called the cops and said, There's a shark and it's swimming around the boat, and the cops were just like, okay,
yeah, that's what sharks do.
What is she going to do? She's going to sue the UFOs or sue the cops or sue the government.
Well, much like that lady, it's so far no luck. He proudly announced that his UFO case has been accepted as a first true UFO case ever by some historical society somewhere. We are supposed to be impressed. And that's the end of... This must have been before the park even closed down. So even then, people have been ripping this guy up. And that's why he's not considered that top echelon thing. You can fight. You can... whatever context you have. I don't know how he did this to be able to even get this park made. Or get this monument up. Or get this... whatever this new technology called green screen is about. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he's done this. But even though he's done all this, he still hasn't seemed to scratch the surface about people who actually give a shit about this kind of thing. Now, Drea, I'm going to ask you, just overall, what do you think of all this? I want to hear your thoughts, especially.
I mean, I believe him. I don't find any reason to not believe him. I mean, he doesn't have any other reason other than he has a modeling agency to uphold, but it's not like he actually uses that to like advertise his modeling agency. It's like completely separate. He didn't really get any money out of the monument. It was actually paid for by somebody else, and he didn't ask for it.
He bought a bench.
I'm always looking at what the motive would be. And I think that this guy has held true to his story. The fact that the rest of his family has like different versions of the story, I don't know, man. That's on them. Matthew was curled up in the fetal position the whole time. Well, so what the fuck does he know?
Well, maybe it's not so much about money, because if you're running these model agencies and you're putting models on CSI Miami and others, maybe it's not about the money.
Your life goal.
It's all about being in the history books. Maybe he's like a history buff, and he wanted
notoriety.
He wants
notoriety.
to be
sure,
remembered.
but what's that going to get him? Like, cool, and it got taken away, and he's still, he's fighting for
pissed.
it, but.
It got him an episode on the Unbelievers podcast.
Yeah.
It's gotten him a lot
Well,
of
here's
stuff.
the thing. he hated every time that he was on one of those TV shows.
Because he has no
that got him
charisma. He's
Well, no, he
boring as
didn't- he
shit. He's not an interesting guy. It's just he's pushed his story behind the scenes so much that he's trying to make it so hard, and that's why he's on Paranormal Paparazzi. He called them.
Well, you think he'd be
He's
happy
the
with
only
the
one
results
that
then,
has
because
called
they
them.
They exaggerated his stories to such an extent. You think that he would appreciate that, like, oh, good, they made it sound like more than what it was. But he was very adamant about being like, no, my family and I are not a bunch of lunatics. We're not some crazy people. Here is exactly what I saw and experienced. And he doesn't seem to be looking for any money out of it. So for me, once you take money out of the equation, I find it really kind of credible. I have no reason not to believe him.
All right, before I get to you, Rob, I will say that is a good point. And the good thing about this is it's not over. This happened now. That monument that monument just got knocked down like a month ago. And now Pascagoula, now the wrinkly face aliens are leading the pack. They're making him look foolish, and they're one of the dumbest aliens ever. So what do you think about all of this stuff, Rob?
I think this story's interesting because it's like it's all set up and then post story. You don't actually get the meat and potatoes of that of what happened during the abduction. It's just he's like, we were driving and then all of a sudden we have missing time and
Grandma's outside.
Grandma's in the road and we're confused and we're staring at each other. It's like it's the weird part of the movie that happens right before the movie gets really good.
Never gets good.
And I like that eventually he was like, you know what, let's bring in let's try to hypnotize and we'll try to regress and bring it, and then maybe we can access the meat and potatoes of this story by doing that.
He's given meat and potatoes to these appearances at these UFO conferences. Man, there's no videos about that. He's not talking about that. The last update we got was 2009 when his brother went to the movie with a boy who's totally not his boyfriend,
and
he
God,
got roofied. That's the last update. And there's a monument to that night. To those guys together. There's a monument. Well, not anymore. They probably heard that when they're like, you went to see, what was it again? Watchmen. You saw Watchmen with your boyfriend, and now we have to have a monument because you were staring at Professor Manhattan's giant blue rod.
Well, what would you consider meat and potatoes? Like, what more do you want other than somebody's just like
things like happened to Travis Walton, the details about medical experiments and waking up.
Well, he didn't have medical experiments.
Well, what the fuck were they doing with him? There was no business
he
to be with
know.
him. He was mistaken
He had no
identity.
reason to be.
Don't touch me! Don't get your hands off me!
Yeah,
I want some of that.
To me, that makes it more real that he didn't have those kinds of crazy, extravagant claims. He's
because
like, no, this is all that happened.
I killed him! They're gonna kill us
That's
too!
right.
Shut up! Lovey, shut up!
And Jonathan Reed, he was busy.
Be throwing up and filling my pants.
That's
okay. I guess that's the meat and potatoes you're looking for. Is
yes, I want to see
fillings.
meat and potatoes in their pants. That's how these stories go.
Disgusting.
You don't deserve. Jonathan Reed and Freddie should have a memorial freezer. Oh, before this guy.
I was about to say, they deserve a fucking memorial.
To his dog.
Their story has so much more like meat to it.
Oh, because there was a dog death in it.
The Pascagoula
a story where there's no
Rest
death.
in
It's just
peace.
like, so if nothing really horrible happens, it's not a real story?
Those wrinkly face aliens had a better story, and they have a fitting monument that no one's ever going to touch because I'm going there. It's not that long of a drive. I'll pay for the gas.
Do it.
I will.
Good.
God damn, I will.
I do want to believe him though. Like I do want to believe the story. Like Drea said, there's nothing about it that's particularly like outlandish or sounds too ridiculous or unbelievable. Since it's such a vague thing and it's just about the weirdness of the missing time and the way that everybody was acting, then like I don't see anything about it that seems impossible. So I do kind of believe him, but it's weird because, like I said, there's not a lot to the story to believe.
There's not a lot against it either.
No, fuck that. I disagree. If you're gonna give us anything, give me a statue of Granny walking down the street lost. That's it. We're out of here. We'll never figure it out. So go answer this week's poll. What alien encounter truly does deserve a monument? All right, is it the Reed incident? Is it Travis Walton? Is it the wrinkly face aliens? Or is it, I'll let you pick one, Drea.
Jonathan Reed.
Or is it Jonathan Reed and Freddie? Who deserves a real monument? Go to unbelieverspodcast.com. Answer that poll. If it's not up there, That's not on us. We're out of here. Let's move on. We're back.
The statue got me high. The statue got me high. The monument of granite Santa beam into my eye. The statue made me die. The statue made me die.
Yes, the core stone, the monument of stone of the Reeds, gone.
Oh, that statue got them high? Is that what the lyrics said?
It must have, because they thought it was going to stay there. But unfortunately, like we said, it's gone. And man.
Yeah, but gone but never forgotten.
Yeah, well, it will be forgotten by a bunch of people, but not forgotten by the Reeds or us. For damn sure.
No, and definitely don't forget the Pascagoula Wrinkly-Faced Aliens Monument. Go check it out.
I want to go there.
I gotta go. It's gonna be great. And yeah, and if anyone can find that video of Thomas Reed in whatever hypnotic recession flailing around like in that review, I want to find that too. You can't find it. He must just be. That's an exclusive. You have to go to the UFO conference to see that.
Dang it.
Well,
it's not on YouTube?
I couldn't find it. So if anyone can find it, shoot me a thing. I don't want to see it. It sounds funny. But that's it for this week. We're just going to wrap it up, and it is time for credits, I guess. But before we go, there's no poll. We didn't do poll last week. We played the game last week. We ain't got anything to do right now, huh?
No, just time to think about what we've done.
Yeah.
Save our energy for next week. We got a big one coming next week.
Yeah, we had rods and reeds. I don't know what's coming next, so I guess I'm just going to be over here worrying.
Follow the clues, solve the puzzle. How does the rod to the reed?
Rods
Where are we going?
Reeds. Roads. Oh my God. It's not roads, is it?
I hope not. Drea, do you have anything you would like to say or plug before we go?
No, just the usual stuff. Instagram, because that's where we have fun stuff that we post. And follow me on Twitter at Unbeliever Drea if you'd like to see occasional dishonorable mentions from poll results.
There you go. What about you, Rob Okey?
My Instagram. Go to my Instagram, Rob Okey, Robokey. And watch Stranger Things season 3 on Netflix. It's really good.
Yeah, they really needed that plug. I'm glad you got that out there. Look for that little
I've never heard of that show.
Oh
so
my
that's
God.
Good.
I'm throwing mine in for it too. Go for it. The Unbelievers podcast host today were Drea, Mora, and me, Rus Ryan. Our producer and soundboard engineer is Rob Okey. You can join our Patreon by going to patreon.com/UnbelieversPodcast. You can follow the show on Twitter at UnbelieversPod and Instagram at Unbelievers Podcast. Our Facebook group is the Unbelievable Podcast Network. Check out our merch store at cafepress.com/UnbelieversPodcast. And thank you so much to our patrons, Little BB, Dr. Ortega, Tyler Ventura, William Fox, Corrupted Mask, Michael Shields, Michael Phillips, Weary Exile, Carol Valley, Manny MQ Ultra, CJP, Braden Hit, Raymond Roel, Todd X, Christopher Pinici, The Moon, The Judging Moon, it's the same guy, Mike Henry, Taylor Nelson, Matthew Leon, Bryce Crodenberger Jr., Don Bright, Shannon Ferrigno, Tom O'Connell, Amelia Childs, Mark Braun, Donna Bands, Michelle Durham, Ken K. Mill, and Jenna Stevens. Our official composer and theme song creator is Unbeliever A.A. Ron, a.k.a. Aaron Chilb. Follow him on Instagram at the Aaron Chilb. Our official graphic designer and card maker who designed our logo is Raymond Roel. Check out his work at P Raven Creative on Twitter and Project Raven Creative on Instagram. Our official alien bopper is Nunchuck Bob. And this week's Unbeliever Focus is Donnie Smith, who heard me again on the Knights of Vader podcast, where we talked about the Emperor returning in the new Star Wars. When I asked what he thought of my theories, he said,
"Why'd they bring him back? If he was abducted 50 years ago, why'd they bring him back?"
Good night. History.
Discontinue Discontinue.